The Adventures of Inspector Edward Hastings. In the dimly lit street of London, where the fog clung to cobblestone like a shroud, Inspector Edward Hastings received an urgent summons. The letter, sealed with crimson wax bearing the crest of Hastings' Montgomery family, bore news of most perplexing matter: the disappearance of Lord Montgomery, a man of great influence and wealth. With a sense of duty weighing heavily upon him, Hastings wasted no time in making his way to the grand estate nestled amidst the sprawling gardens of Mayfair. As he stepped through the wrought iron gates, he was greeted by the solemn faces of the household staff there, their hushed whisper hinting at the gravity of the situation. Inside the opulent drawing room, Lady Elizabeth Montgomery awaited him, her eyes clouded with worry. She recounted the events of previous evening, when the Lord Montgomery had vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but a cryptic note and a sense of foreboding that lingered in the air like the chill of an approaching storm. With his keen intellect and sharp wit, Hastings began his investigation, meticulously scouring the estate for any clue that might shed light on the mystery. From the dusty corridors of the library to the dimly lit chambers for the servants' quarter, he searched for answers, his mind racing with possibilities. As night fell and shadows grew long, Hastings found himself standing before the ornate mosaic desk in Lord Montgomery's study. There, amidst the scattered papers and ink-stained parchment, he discovered a hidden compartment concealed beneath a false bottom. With trembling hands, he retrieved a small leather-bound journal, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and arcane writings. As he pored over the mysterious text, a sense of unease washed over him, for he knew that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could ever have imagined. With the first flickerings of dawn on the horizon, Hastings resolved to delve deeper into the enigma that surrounded Lord Montgomery's disappearance, for he knew that the key to unraveling the mystery lay hidden within the pages of the journal, waiting to be unlocked by the keen mind of Inspector Edward Hastings, the master detective of his time. As the morning sun cast its golden rays over the city of London, Inspector Edward found himself immersed in the cryptic world of Lord Montgomery's journal. With each turn of page, he deciphered ancient symbols and obscure references, piecing together a puzzle that seems to transcend time itself. With the help of his trusty companion, Dr. Watson, Hastings embarked on a journey of discovery, tracing the origins of the journal to a remote monastery nestled amidst the mist-shrouded hills of English countryside. There, amidst are crumbling ruins of a forgotten way, they encountered Brother Matthias, a reclusive monk with knowledge of the journal's secret. In a dimly lit chamber illuminated by a flickering candlelight, Brother Matthias revealed the true nature of Lord Montgomery's quest to uncover the lost treasure of King Arthur, a fabled relic said to hold the power to unite the warring kingdoms of England. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Hastings and Dr. Watson set out on a perilous journey across the rough landscape of Cornwall, following a trail of clues that led them to the ancient ruins of Tintagel Castle. There, amidst the crashing waves and jagged cliffs, they uncovered a hidden chamber containing a relic of untold power, the fabled sword of Excalibur. But their dream was short-lived, for lurking in the shadows was a dark figure intent on seeing the sword for nefarious purposes. In a harrowing confrontation atop the battlements of a castle, Hastings faced off against the villainous Lord Blackwood, a man consumed by greed and ambition. With the fate of the kingdom hanging in the balance, Hastings engaged in a battle of wits and steel, wielding the sword Excalibur against his foe with skill and determination. In the end, justice prevailed and Lord Blackwood was vanquished, his dark ambitions thwarted by the indomitable spirit of Inspector Edward Hastings. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ancient ruins of Tintagel Castle, Hastings stood victorious, the sword of Excalibur held aloft a beacon of hope for the future. For wherever there were mercy to be sought and justice to be served, there would always be Inspector Edward Hastings, the master detective of his time. With the sword of Excalibur safely returned to its rightful place, Inspector Edward Hastings returned to London, his mind still reeling from the events that had transpired at Tintagel Castle. But there was a little time for reflection, for a new mystery awaited him, one that would test the limits of his detective powers. Word had spread of a series of peculiar burglaries plying the affluent neighborhoods of Mayfair, each one more brazen than the last. The culprit, it seemed, was a shadowy figure known only as the Midnight Phantom, a master thief with a penchant of rare antiquities. Determined to bring the elusive criminal to justice, Hastings embarked on a relentless pursuit, scouring the dark alleys and back streets of London for any clue that might lead him to his goal. It was during one such investigation that he encountered a reclusive scholar known as Professor Sinclair, a man with a reputation of eccentricity and vast knowledge of ancient artifacts. Suspicion immediately fell upon Sinclair, whose secluded mansions were rumored to be veritable treasure trove of stolen goods. With his keen intellect and sharp eye for detail, Hastings set out to confront the enigmatic suspect, his mind ablaze with questions and theories. Upon arriving at Sinclair's mansion, Hastings was met with a scene of opulence and grandeur, the air heavy with scent of old books and musty manuscripts. But as he delved deeper into the labyrinthine corridors of the mansion, he sensed a darkness lurking beneath the surface, a darkness that threatened to consume them both. In a dimly lit study lined with towering bookshelves, Hastings confronted Sinclair, his gaze unwavering as he sought answers to questions that plagued his mind. With each probing question, he peeled back the layers of deception that shrouded the truth, until at last the enigmatic suspect revealed his true motives. Sinclair confessed to being the mastermind behind the Midnight Phantom, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a desire for immortality. But even as he spoke of his crimes, there was a glimmer of remorse in his eyes, a spark of humanity that belied his villainous facade. In the end, justice was served, and Sinclair was apprehended, his reign of terror brought to an end by unwavering determination of Inspector Edward Hastings. And as he stood amidst the ruins of Sinclair's mansion, Hastings knew that the mysteries of London would never cease to challenge him. For wherever there was darkness, there would always be a beacon of light to guide the way. With Professor Sinclair apprehended and the reign of Midnight Phantom brought to an end, Inspector Edward Hastings found himself once again thrust into the heart of danger. But even as one mystery was solved, another far more perilous awaited him on the horizon. News had reached Hastings of a sinister plot unfolding in the darkened corner of the city, a plot that threatened to unleash chaos upon the streets of London. With his keen intellect and unwavering resolve, Hastings embarked on a perilous pursuit, determined to unravel the tangled web of deceit before it was too late. From the shadowy alleys of Whitechapel to the bustling markets of Covent Garden, Hastings followed a trail of breadcrumbs that led him ever deeper into the heart of darkness. Along the way, he encountered a cast of characters both sinister and strange, a motley crew of thieves, rogues, and ne'er-do-wells, each with their own secrets to hide. But amidst the chaos and confusion, Hastings remained steadfast in his pursuit of justice, his determination unwavering in the face of adversity. With each passing horse, he grew closer to uncovering the truth behind the sinister plot that threatened to tear the city apart. It was during a moonlit rendezvous in the depth of an abandoned warehouse that Hastings finally came face to face with the mastermind behind the plot, a shadowy figure known only as the Baron, a man with a vendetta against the powers that be. In a tense showdown that echoed through the empty halls of the warehouse, Hastings confronted the Baron, his words ringing out like thunder in the night. With each accusation, he peeled back the layers of deception that shrouded the truth, until the last, the Baron's true motive were laid bare for all to see. In the end, justice prevailed, and the Baron was apprehended, his sinister plot thwarted by the unwavering determination of Inspector Edward Hastings. And as the first light of dawn broke over the city skyline, Hastings knew that though the shadows of mystery would always linger on the horizon, there would always be a beacon of hope to guide the way. Wherever there was darkness, there would always be Inspector Edward Hastings, the master detective of his time. With the nefarious plot of Baron foiled and justice served once more, Inspector Edward stood on the precipice of yet another thrilling conclusion. But little did he know that the final confrontation would test his resolve like never before, plunging him into the depth of danger and intrigue. Word had reached Hastings of clandestine gathering of London's most notorious criminal, a gathering rumored to be orchestrated by a shadowy figure known only as Mastermind. Determined to unravel the mystery surrounding this enigmatic figure, Hastings embarked on a perilous journey that would lead him to the very heart of darkness. From the smoke-filled backrooms of seedy taverns to opulent ballrooms of aristocracy, Hastings followed a trail of breadcrumbs that led him ever closer to his quarry. Along the way, he encountered a roguish gallery of criminals, each more cunning and dangerous than the last. Their loyalties divided by greed and ambition. But amidst chaos and deception, Hastings remained undeterred in his pursuit of the truth. With each passing day, he uncovered new clues and unearthed secrets that brought him ever closer to uncovering the identity of the elusive mastermind. It was during the clandestine meeting in the depth of an abandoned warehouse that Hastings finally came face to face with his adversary. A figure cloaked in shadows, the feature obscured by dim light of the halls. Hastings confronted the mastermind, words ringing out like a clarion call. With steely mastermind and unwavering resolve, Hastings laid before the mastermind's sinister plot, posing the web of lies and deceit that ensnared the city in its grip. And as the truth came to light, the mastermind facade crumbled, revealing the figure driven by desperation and despair, a victim of circumstances as much as a perpetrator of crime. In the end, justice prevailed. The mastermind was apprehended, the reign of terror brought to an end by indomitable spirit of Inspector Edward Hastings, as he stood amidst the wreckage of the warehouse. Both in the light of dawn, Hastings knew that though the shadows of mastery would always linger on the horizon, there would always be those willing to stand against him. Wherever there was darkness, there would always be a beacon of light to guide the way, and that beacon in the end was none other than Inspector Edward Hastings, the master detective of his time.